I'm going to get my Gobert update and jab out there quick, and we're just going to not talk about him the rest of the video. I tried because there's nothing new about the disappointment he has been tonight and this entire season. So let's take a look. Here's our fourth string center who got a lot of minutes tonight, was on our team all of last season, showed a lot of triture in his minutes, although they were all in garbage time. Pretty good, right? Yeah. Okay, here is our fifth string center, two-way player, I believe second year for Luka Garza in the league. Pretty good, right? Yeah. Here is the stat line for Gobert, who we altered the chemistry and composition of our finally playoff caliber team last season and completely diverted the direction of the team, while additionally slashing away at our future. Good job on that one, Tim Connolly. Not talking about him the rest of the video, okay? Let's get into it. The Wolves win by 13 at home to end their 6-game losing streak, while they did not have Jordan McLaughlin, D'Angelo Russell, Taurean Prince, Karl Anthony Towns, Naz Reid, and we just beat the 1 seed in the West, who is still the 1 seed even after losing. And to be honest, I'm not that excited after that game. You would think when you have these really undermanned, huge wins against a stellar opponent, you're going to feel fruited, right? I don't have it. I don't think it's entirely because of the depression that I showed after that last loss on New Year's Eve. I think it's more that I watched that Nuggets team almost the entire game last night when they played the Celtics, who are the number 1 seed in the East, and they're not the same team that played the Wolves tonight. So the Nuggets were in a back-to-back, and it sure showed. Kind of everyone on their team was a step back, except for Bones Highland, who only gets 22 minutes, which I don't know how Michael Malone let that happen. Every minute that Bones was out on the court tonight, he seemed like the ultimate threat out there. And he's been shooting 60% from 3 his last 3 games, scoring about 20 every single game. Well, a shade under. And he would have got over 20 tonight if he gets more than 22 minutes. But the shackles stayed on Bones for some reason? I don't know. Because it's not like anyone else on the Nuggets was really lighting it up tonight. Jokic was rather human. Still a good night. Their supporting cast of Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray were a combined 0 for 12 in the first half. Most of that being Gordon, who started 0 for 10. And they just seemed kind of off tonight in all facets, and we're kind of go-through-mowing through all of that one. And that's why I don't think I'm going crazy about beating the 1 seed, missing so many significant players. But we saw some great things from players that I've been hyping up all year. Jaden McDaniels, I felt, was the best player on the court tonight, and we only got him for 25 minutes. Look at that stat line, 9 for 10, a lot of those being dunks, and he was armoring all around. Problem with him, again, foul trouble. Jaden McDaniels reminds me a lot of myself, because he commits so many stupid fouls that he does not need to. Picked up his first one in the backcourt, just kind of a frustration foul, just grabbed someone. And then when he had 3 fouls early in the third quarter as the Nuggets are going on a bit of a run to take back the lead, he gets extremely physical with Jamal Murray for no reason, picks up his 4th, has to go to the bench, and he was 7 of 8 at that point, still just killing it on offense and defense, and takes himself out of the game. He's gonna still foul because he takes such difficult assignments, but just get rid of the dumb ones and we're chilling, man. Jalen Noel gets the start tonight, performs pretty well, decent scoring night. The big problem with him is the same as it's been. He just can't make catch and shoot threes and just open threes. If he starts knocking down the looks that like every NBA player is like panting for and are the exact shots that every shooter wants, he's going to be doing great, but he just can't really be trusted with the catch-and-shoot spot-up threes, and that's kind of the next dimension he really needs in his game. Also has been fouling a ton. If he can tone that back, that would be big as well, because I think as he's gotten a bit more regular minutes, I feel like he doesn't bring the same tenacity on defense, but it's getting called for just as many fouls as if he was. Although I think he gets officiated pretty poorly and gets a lot of touch fouls on him, which is kind of dumb. Speaking of the officials, Ant is just obsessed with them this year. It's pretty frustrating to watch. With Pat Bev last year, I feel like he was able to tone down that behavior from both Cat and Ant a bunch. And yeah, it's like nothing is keeping that down now, and it's just constant complaining, which doesn't really help them in any way. I think the Sox just dislike them more. Edwards would have a good scoring night overall. Second half is where he really picked it up. Actually, it was scoreless in the first quarter. The final kind of standout player was really Kyle Anderson. He was phenomenal tonight, knocking down a lot of threes. I think most of them in the corners as well. Also dished out 8 assists, a lot of huge plays out of him. And as I mentioned at the start, backup bigs were pretty good too. Nate Knight brings energy every single time he's out there. Just super effortful, knocked down a 3 again tonight. His stroke seems pretty decent. He's still a raw player. You see some bad turnovers from him and will make mistakes, but I feel like he's got a lot of potential that I would like to see grow. Luka Garza, great on the offensive end tonight. Normally I say that he looks outclassed athletically on the defensive end. That wasn't too much of an issue tonight. But I will also mention that Aaron Gordon got 12 offensive rebounds. So it's not like we had kind of the boards completely locked down and that we weren't getting leaped over. Final thing that I'll end on, it's great to be labeled if you're an NBA player. Because if you get a label like, well, defender for one, but also three-point shooting specialist, even if people do not look at your career three-point shooting numbers and you go 1 for 4 like every night, as Matt Ryan has with us, you can still get on the court, so that's pretty sweet. I mean, we're so depleted. We are missing so many players. It's like, I don't think he'll be around later, but God, it helps to get a label like that. All right, the Wolves won that game. The world is batump. Nothing new. Peace out.